Hello students, last time we have dealt with the classification of these nucleus on the basis of the number of protons and neutrons contained by them. Now we will be dealing with the second classification of these nuclei here we will be going to classify the nuclei on the basis of their stability. Now, on the basis of the stability, these nuclei can be classified in two categories. The very first category is for stable nuclei, while in the second category, we will be talking about those nuclei which are unstable in nature. Now, if I talk about the stable nuclei, then these stable nuclei are defined as those nuclei which are permanent in nature, means they are contain neutrons and protons. They do not go for the changing, they remains unchanged forever. For example, if I talk about aluminium 1327, then this one is considered as the stable nuclei as its number of protons and neutrons do not go for the spontaneous change. While if we go for the bombarding of some external radiation on this aluminium 1327, then the number of protons and neutrons can be made for the spontaneous decay. For example, this aluminium 1327, when bombarded with the alpha radiation, that is He24, then by the bombarding of alpha radiation, it is converted into an isotope of phosphorus, that is phosphorus 1530, and with the emission of one neutron particle. Initially, when this aluminium 1327 was not going for spontaneous decay, or its number of protons and neutrons were not going to be changed, so initially it can be considered as a stable nuclei. But by the further bombarding of this alpha radiation, we have converted this into phosphorus 1530, and it goes for the spontaneous decay by the emission of some radiation from it. So it is converted into an unstable nuclei now. So now, if I am to define these stable nuclei, then these are defined as those nuclei. Now, if we go to the second category of these classification, the second category was unstable nuclei. These unstable nuclei are defined as those nuclei whose number of protons and neutrons changes with time, and this change occurs due to the emission of some radiation from these nuclei. Now, if I go to the study that why some nuclei are stable in nature, they are not going for the spontaneous decay, while on the other hand, some nuclei are unstable in nature and their number of protons and neutrons change with time. So, this stability of nucleus can be explained by studying these two factors that we are going to take now. And here we will go for the study of these stable nuclei. The very first factor that we will be using here to explain the stability of these nuclei, then this study and this factor is based on the study of all the stable isotopic nuclei that are found in nature. And this classification or this study is based on the number of protons and neutrons contained in the nucleus of these stable nuclei, that whether the value is even or odd. So this study or this factor is on the basis of After studying approx 280 stable isonuclei, the condition what is found for being stable is maximum number of stable nuclei were like this, which were having even number of protons and even number of neutrons. Like as I said initially that we are going to study approx 280 stable isotopic nuclei. Out of these 280 stable isotopic nuclei, 165 were like this, which were having even number of protons and neutrons present in them. If I make any one out of these number of protons and neutrons value odd, then the number of stable nuclei it decrease. Like if I take the even number of protons and odd number of neutrons, then the number of stable nuclei were found as 57. On the other hand, if we observe the another rest 53 stable nuclei, then it was found that these 53 stable nuclei were having even number of neutrons while they were having odd number of neutrons, and those stable nuclei which were having both the values odd means they were having odd value of number of protons and odd value of number of neutrons. The number of stable nuclei which were having these two values still they were stable was only 5. So here by observing these data we can conclude that whenever these number and whenever this proton and neutrons value is even in nature, there is the highest probability of the nucleus for being stable. While if the number of protons and neutrons, anyone out of these two has odd value, then in this condition thus chances for being stable decreases, like this value is decreased from 165 to 57 or 53. As this value 57 or 53 is approximately equal, so now we can conclude that nuclei with odd value of number of protons and neutrons are found to be stable in approximately equal number. So we can explain that the stability of nuclei, it doesn't depend on the charge of nucleons. Like whatever the value is even here, whether the value is for the charged particle protons or the even value is for the neutral particle neutrons, in both the condition we are getting approximately equal number of stable nuclei. So the stability of the nuclei, it doesn't depend on the charge on nucleus. And final conclusion and the final observation that indicates that whenever the protons and neutrons they are having the odd value, there are only 5 nucleus which were stable with these odd value of protons and neutrons containing. Then this indicates that nuclei with the odd value of neutrons and protons are very rarely stable. We will be dealing with the second classification of these nuclei, that we are going to deal on the basis of the stability of these nuclei. So that is the second classification. Now, on the basis of the stability of nuclei, these nuclei can be classified in two categories. The very first category is for those nuclei which doesn't go for the emission of some radiations from them and they do not go for the spontaneous decay. These nuclei are termed as stable nuclei since these are permanent and by the emission of any radiation they do not go for the changing of their number of protons and neutrons. And since they do not change the value of the number of protons and neutrons present in them, so we can say that their protons and neutron contains remains unchanged forever. For example, if I talk about aluminium 1327, then this one is a stable nuclei since it doesn't go for the emission of any spontaneous radiation. But it is not so that these stable nuclei cannot be made unstable. This can be done by the emission of by the bombardment of any external radiation on these stable nuclei, such as if we go for the bombarding of helium particle on this aluminium 37, then as we go for the bombarding of helium particle, now by this kind of bombarding, it is converted into an unstable isotope of phosphorus, that is phosphorus 1530, with the emission of one neutron particle. Initially, this aluminium 1327 was not going to change its proton and neutron contents. That is why it was considered as a stable nuclei. While on the other hand, this phosphorus 1530 has the tendency of spontaneous decay, and its number of protons and neutrons changes with time. So this one is not termed as the stable nuclei. This one can be classified as the second category of this classification, that is unstable nuclei. So that is about the stable nuclei. Now, as I said initially, that here we are going to study only the nucleus. So it's a nuclear phenomena, that it will go for the spontaneous decay or not. Here this stable nuclei will not be affected with the number of electrons and the position of electrons present in the atom. So it's totally a nuclear phenomena, and here the stability of these nuclei doesn't depend on the number of electrons. Now we will be dealing with the second classification of these nuclei, and the second classification on this basis is unstable nuclei. So just opposite from the stable nuclei, these nuclei are defined as those for which the number of protons and neutrons changes with time. If some nuclei is going to change its number of protons and neutrons with time, it's going for the spontaneous decay without any external interference, then these nuclei will be termed as unstable nuclei. Now, if I am to explain that why some nuclei are stable in nature, they are not going for the spontaneous decay. On the other hand, some nuclei are categorized as unstable nuclei. Then this stability of nuclei can be explained on two factors. The very first factor is based on the some observation which were did after studying most of the stable nuclei that are found in this nature. And here we will be studying with the very first factor to explain the stability of nuclei. Here, this very first factor is based on the some observation that are made after studying approx 280 stable nuclei. When scientists has observed these stable nuclei, that what is specific about these stable nuclei, then when they observed their protons and neutrons value, then they found a surprising thing. Then out of these 280 stable nuclei, the 165, that is more than the half of this, were stable, and these were having even number of protons and neutrons, while 53 stable nuclei were like this, which were having even number of neutrons, and they were having odd value of protons. On the other hand, out of these 280, 57 were like this, which were having even value of protons, and they were having odd value of neutrons. Surprisingly, with the odd value of protons and neutrons both, there were only 5 nuclei which were stable by this kind of odd value of protons and neutrons. Now, here we are having the observations, and to explain the observations with the help of these observations, some conclusions were made. Now, we will be dealing with these conclusions. The very first conclusion is, from the very first observation, we can see that whenever the value of proton and neutrons are even in number, the maximum chances are for being the nuclei stable. So this is the very first conclusion, that those nuclei with even value of protons and neutrons are stable in maximum number. Now, to explain this kind of observation that why with the even value of protons and neutrons, these nuclei are going to be stable in maximum number, this can be explained by considering or by assuming the pairing of these nucleons. Whenever we assume that there is the pairing of neutron and proton in nucleus, now on the basis of this pairing we can explain the stability of these nuclei. As for this kind of pairing, these protons and neutrons should be in even number or should be with even value. So we can say that this kind of pairing is the required condition for the stability of nuclei. Now, on the basis of the second and the third observation, we can see that whether anyone out of these two is having odd value, whether the value of proton is odd in number or the value of the number of neutron is odd in number, the chances of the nuclei for being stable decreases. It is decreased from 165 to 53 or 165 to 57. But both the chances are approximately equal. So here we can conclude that nuclei with the odd value of protons and neutrons, they are found to be stable in approximately equal number, and on the basis of this observation we can explain that the stability of this nuclei doesn't depend on this thing that the even value is of neutrons or this even value is of protons. Means on the other words, in the other words, it doesn't depend on the charge on a charge of nucleons. So that's the second observation. So that's the second conclusion that we can make on the basis of this observation, and this is nuclei with odd value of protons and neutrons are found. Now, as we are having this fourth observation, then those nuclei which are having odd value of protons and neutrons both, then the chances of being stable decreases so far, and it becomes very less chances for being the nuclei to stable with this odd value of protons and neutrons. So that's the next observation, and this observation also proves the very first conclusion that we have made, since both the values are odd in number. So here the pairing of these nucleons becomes difficult. Here neutron by neutron pairing or proton proton pairings becomes difficult, and since this pairing becomes difficult, the chances to be stable decreases. That is why we can again conclude that this kind of pairing is required for the stability of nuclei. So that are the observation that are made by studying all the stable nuclei or most of the stable nuclei that are found in nature. Now we will be dealing with the second factor that on the basis of which we can explain the stability of nuclei, and this second factor is based on the neutron by proton ratio present in these stable nuclei. So that's the second factor that we are using here to explain the stability of these nuclei, and this factor is we will be finding the neutron by proton ratio for these stable nuclei. Now if we make a graph between number of protons and number of neutrons present in the nucleus of any atom by taking this number of neutrons on y-axis and number of protons we will be taking at x-axis. So here this straight line will indicate those nuclei which will be having equal number of protons and neutrons. Now in this graph, if I represent the stable nuclei, here this shaded region indicates those nuclei which are stable in nature. This can also be termed as stability zone or stability belt. Well, this straight line indicates those nuclei where the number of protons are equal to the number of neutrons. Means on the other hand, means on in the another words, here for this straight here for those nuclei which are coming on this straight line, the neutron by proton ratio is 1. Now, if we observe this graph that is made by placing the stable nuclei in this stability zone, we can observe that at the starting condition where the number of neutrons and number of protons are lesser in number, we can see that initially this stability belt is going to overlap this straight line where the number of protons and neutrons are equal in number. So that's the very first observation that we can make here, and this first observation indicates that for those nuclei which are lighter lighter one, means their number of neutrons and protons are lesser in value than these lighter elements or lighter nuclei. The stability condition that is required is the value of number of neutrons should be equal to the number of protons present in them. If they satisfy this condition, that is the number of protons is equal to the number of neutrons, then these lighter nuclei will be stable in nature. As we can observe from this graph that for the lighter nuclei, those nuclei which are coming in this stability belt are going to show this condition that their number of protons are equal to the number of neutrons. Means in the another meaning, the neutron by proton ratio for these lighter nuclei should be equals to 1, and this condition is applicable for those nuclei that are having the atomic number 20. If the atomic number is equals to 20 or it is lesser than this, then till the atomic number 20, for being stable, the condition is their neutron by proton ratio should be 1, that we can observe from this graph. And if I observe for the heavier nuclei, like if I move upwards in this stability zone, stability belt, then we can clearly observe then by moving upwards for these heavier nuclei, this stability belt is moving towards y-axis, or it's going to bend towards y-axis. This clearly indicates that for heavier nuclei, only those nuclei are coming in this stability belt which are having higher value of neutrons as compared to protons, and they are having lower number of protons. So that's the condition for the nuclei to being stable, and this is the condition applicable for heavier nuclei. These heavier nuclei will be stable only in the condition when the number of neutrons will be greater as compared to the number of protons, and what the neutron by proton ratio is found for these stable nuclei which are heavier one, it is found that it is greater than 1 and it is approximately in the range of 1 to 1.5. These heavier nuclei which are coming in this kind of range where the neutron by proton ratio lies in between 1 to 1.5, then these nuclei are considered as the stable nuclei. From this graph we can observe that this is the condition for nuclei to come in the stability belt or stability zone. Now this can again be explained by considering that since for the heavier nuclei the number of protons should be lesser than the number of neutrons. So we can assume here that here more number of neutrons are required to hold these positively charged protons together. As for the lighter nuclei, the number of protons are not in this much higher value that there will be the repulsion force in great magnitude. But for these heavier nuclei, since they are having high value of protons and neutrons, then due to the repulsion force between protons, a different force is required to overcome this repulsion between these protons. And here, the higher number of nuclei makes these positively charged protons in the bonded condition. So that is the required condition for these heavier nuclei to being stable, that higher the number of higher the number of neutrons will help them to be stable. And those nuclei which are coming apart in this stability belt, either they are coming at the bottom side of this stability belt or they are coming at the top side of this stability belt, these are unstable in nature. These unstable nuclei emit some kind of radiation, either they go for the emission of electrons, protons or neutrons. These electrons are termed as positron particles. Then due to the emission of these kind of particles, these unstable nuclei tries to come in this stability belt. And when they go for the emission of these kind of particles, then this kind of emission is termed as radioactivity. So that's the topic that we are to study here now. To explain the stability of the nuclei, these unstable nuclei goes for the emission of some kind of radiation, some kind of particles to achieve the stability. This tendency of the emission of radiation is termed as radioactivity. So that's the basic of this radioactivity. With the definition of this radioactivity, we will be studying in our next lecture.